All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm sure there's going to be a few people that will log in as we go along. So just hopefully you can hang tight with all the dings if we get any more, that is. So welcome back. Thank you so much for attending and thank you for your patience and being on time. As you guys know, last Friday we started this training discussing the approach. And what that means exactly. The approach of all areas of your job duties, whether you're a spa director or a franchisee or a multi-unit manager, whatever the case might be, every and any single aspect of your job and your consultant's job has to do with your approach. You can learn the what, but as long as you don't know really the why or the how, like we discussed last Friday, then it does not really matter, simply because if your approach on everything is all wrong, incorrect, maybe seems too forward, seems too demanding, seems too salesy, too gimmicky, whatever the case might be, you lessen your chances of being successful in whatever it is that you've set your goal to be or what you're trying to achieve. So I'm going to go through a really quick review of what we discussed last Friday. Won't spend a whole lot of time on that, but we're just going to kind of talk and go through that in case you missed it and you weren't able to attend for whatever the reason might be. And the overview of this entire training that we're going to wrap up today is the overall who is the Planet Beach Spa consultant, the impact of the approach and operations and management, all three R's, and what you can start doing on making the appropriate changes necessary. I know one of the big things that we said, write this down for last Friday, that we said over and over is you guys, no matter what, if you are a new location, if you're an existing location, one thing is for certain, you're already in a routine of what you do every single day. Some of it comes to you naturally. Sometimes you're conscious of it. Sometimes you're not at all conscious of the different routines that you have in place in your spa every single day. We started talking about the little things and the snowball effect when we started going through this last Friday. And what we mean by that is a snowball effect that is taking place in your spa as we speak. It could be a good one or a bad one, because there are such things as both of those things. So if you're noticing that you have a trend in low productivity in any of the areas of your business, whether it's REDS, ratio, retention, you probably want to start at the very top, which is above all, and before you even talk about REDS, to close a membership and get ratio and retain a member. You want to talk about what your details of your operations and your management are, because probably somewhere along the line it's falling in, the problem might be a teeny tiny little problem somewhere in your operations or your management, but that's the little tiny thing that causes that snowball effect that overflows into your REDS, affecting people coming in, which means you can't close members if they're not coming in the door, and people leaving you that are existing members. So the one thing that we said over and over again Friday, if you haven't remembered, if you were not on Friday, write it down if you have not. And the hardest part of change is implementation. Change is not hard, but if you know you have a bad habit of any type, whether it's a management habit, whether it is a simple habit of showing up to work with a full face of makeup, maybe you halfway do it, maybe you didn't completely fix your hair, maybe you still don't abide by uniform policies, whatever the case might be, it might seem small, might seem just very tiny little thing that you think has no effect at all on your productivity. If it's in the rule book, if it's in your handbook, if it's in your processes and procedures and you know for a fact you're not doing it, play the process of elimination game, just so that you can go to bed at night and know at least I made those changes and adhered by what the standards are based on Planet Beach standards. That way, worst case scenario, it didn't have any effect at all on your productivity and you continue to try to strive and be the best that you can be. But the best case is you make the little teeny tiny changes that are simple and easy and in your control, and something that small has played a huge effect on your productivity and all the three R's, and you actually make a change for the better. So that's the best case scenario. So make sure you write that down if you haven't last week. The hardest part, the most difficult part about change is implementation. We talked last Friday about who the spa consultant was, and we talked about what their appearance should look like. At this point, you guys should feel confident in knowing I covered that enough, and that's something I always repeat on every training, no matter what, is what they should look like, what they should represent. They're always walking around being a living, breathing billboard of what your business model is and what you're selling. So make sure you keep that in mind. Make sure they always have guest passes in their purses, in their wallets, in their bags, in their pockets, wherever that they're going, because everywhere you go, where you meet people, 90% chance a conversation comes up at where do you work? So keep that in the back of your mind when you're training all of your staff. We talked about the 5 indispensable components of a successful spa consultant, and I know you guys remember that. You've written it down. They have to, overall, if they are an extrovert, you're good. If they're an introvert and you're getting the pushback now at this stage of their career, whether they're new or seasoned, if they're introverts that give you any type of excuse back of I don't feel comfortable calling people, or I don't know, that's weird if I have to go up to somebody and just randomly start talking, that just makes me uncomfortable, then you know what, let's talk about your opportunities here of becoming a member at Planet Beach, because I feel like you fit the mold of the perfect member. I stole that from Jessica Mathern. She used to train us on that, and I used to love saying that to people. But anyway, all in all, you see number 1 here, if you're looking at the screen, prospecting and promotion is the number 1 indispensable component of a successful spa consultant. We talked Friday about how 2, 3, 4, and 5 all tie in to, if as long as they know and are successful at being what you see here listed as number 1, prospecting and promoting, the rest will fall into place. If I'm an extrovert and I know how to prospect and I'm successful at getting names and numbers from people and I'm great at promotions, I'm not afraid to approach a conversation, to get a red appointment, guess what's going to happen when they come in? I'm going to be just as successful closing them on a membership sale. I'm also going to be great with relationship building because I know how to have a conversation. Retail sales will come because they're going to like me. I'm going to sell everything to this member, and even to people that are not exactly members, people that come in and utilize services. I can get retail sales because I know how to talk to people and get them to understand the importance of using it. And referrals is just another way to prospect and promote. We talked Friday about stopping the madness. Think about this. Do you feel like you've trained on everything that there is, but you're defeated because you've done everything and you're still not producing? If you answered yes and you've trained in all areas of your spa, but you still don't see any results from it, I guarantee you 100%, without a doubt, hands down, and every top spa will probably say the same. It's probably in how you're implementing all of your processes. How do they look? How do they sound? What are they saying? How are they saying it? It comes down to body language, the tone of their voice, right? Everything that you think might not matter when you're training. That's why it's very important to incorporate tell, show, do training. The tell, where you educate, show, showing them what you just told them and having them do it back, because you have no idea what they look like and sound like when they're out in the field unless you put them to the test and say, really quick, pretend like I'm sitting out there at the event and you want to approach me about Planet Beach. Go. That's a perfect opportunity for you to identify any gaps or any weaknesses for you to say, oh, there it is. Okay, I see now why last time you did the same event, you weren't as successful. Let me show you what you sound like, because I'm going to repeat back to you what you sound like. Sometimes people need to hear what they sound like and go, oh my God, I sound like a car salesman. That always is something that's helpful in identifying that for you. The snowball effect in management and operations, we discussed the recruiting approach, the training approach, disciplinary action approach, and also motivating approach. The recruiting approach, we talked about how to do that. There is a right and wrong way to do it. Training, guys, I can't push this enough. Training is ongoing, first and foremost. I had a couple of calls with a few of my specific locations last week that I had a few red flags when it came up to the discussion of the staff and the org chart of a lot of spa directors who were placed in a new spa director position that took on a staff of seasoned people that they were giving a chance to. And there was a lot of, I know how to do that, or I know how to prospect. I'm the best one, the best prospector here, but you're still not hitting what the requirement in the quota is for the spa is red appointments. So if you're the best and this is the best that it gets, I know I need to replace you immediately if you're not willing to accept the fact that you are always in training. As a matter of fact, I am very disappointed in myself for not having this in a slide. Write this down. You are always in training. You never stop training. So write that down and tell that to all of your staff members, franchisees on the call, spa directors on the call, I don't care if you're a top spa. I ran top spas too, but I never once stood up in front of anyone and said, I know everything. Please stop. Don't even try to go there. I don't need training. I can tell you this, you learn from the simplest of positions. I, to this day, will call a spa and say, hey, what's going on in there? And it could be a room attendant or a phone consultant. And I learned something from them, something as small and I'll share that story with you right now. Actually, one of the consultants in one of my spas, when I called and asked, how are you able to get such a great show rate for your red appointments? Every last one of them showed up that day. So I gave him a call and said, what did you do? How did you confirm it? Well, they got excited because what we did was and this is the spa consultant, what we did was we made it sound like such a big deal about coming in and utilizing services for a day that, here's what the script that we used. We used the one from Orion, but at the very end, we were like, we look forward to seeing you when you should come for your appointment. If anything changes, feel free to give us a call and we'll definitely reschedule to accommodate your schedule. And we cannot wait to make you feel like a member for a day. I learned that from a spa consultant. A phone consultant. And I'm over here going, wow, like that's a great way to phrase it because that makes that person feel like they're already a member. That makes them feel elite. Like, wow, like you're gonna feel like you are a part of this family. We're gonna treat you that way, a member for a day. That sounds like it's big. And all in all, this phone consultant's just following a script that they put in place and put their personal customer experience twist on that script. So that's huge. And guess what that is? That's an approach, which is what these trainings are and what these calls are built for. So keep that in mind. But the training approach, always remember you're always in training. You never stop training. Make it fun, you guys, because the second you make it a tasked job to go through and have to train someone, and if they see that you're busy while you're trying to train them and they see you're stressing out about it, they feel like a burden on you, they're just like, don't worry about it, I'll just follow you around. But you don't realize that that's a negative approach. That is a terrible approach because this person's trying to replace you. That's always what we talk about in recruiting. Hire to replace yourselves as spa directors because you want people to want your job. You won't have to direct them as much and follow behind them and hold them accountable as much. They'll just be leaders on their own. So if they're seeing your negative habits now, you're going to have a really hard time managing them and leading them throughout the entire career that they have with Planet Beach. So make it fun. Don't make it stressful. If you have high anxiety at times when things happen, this breaks, this phone's ringing, I have to do this, and I'm freaking out in front of this new hire, guess what's going to happen? That new hire is not showing up next week. Hate to break it to you. So you're setting a tone you don't want to do. You don't want to set any kind of negative aspects in their mind that this is a stressful place to work because, again, and if you haven't written this down in previous webinars, a happy workplace is a productive workplace. And you can substitute the word productive to profitable if you'd like. I've said that a couple of times too. But when people get excited to show up to work, they get more things done. They are more successful, and they don't feel like they're constantly failing, which in turn, they will fail. So a couple of different approaches that we talked about is put together a calendar based on everything. You're stretched thin as spa directors. Right now, you're trying to do this webinar and still be in the spa at the same time. Chances are most of you are anyway. So you already know how busy you are and how valuable your time is. Your time is money. So put together a training calendar where if need be, just do a couple of hours every single day where you cover specific areas of the role. But don't throw them in a situation where they're following you around and you're covering a payroll of training for 8 hours because you haven't gotten around to covering something specific that you want to cover with them that specific day, but you're just so busy, you're just like, watch me and follow me. So you end up spending more money that way all in all as well. Just cover all bases, cross all T's, and use checklists. They're on Orion. Utilize it. Never just wing it and only shadow train. You'll definitely lose money, like I just mentioned, and you'll lose staff members way quicker. So don't create another big thing where, and this was something I had to get trained on myself because when I kicked off my whole management career in Planet Beach, I had a problem with that. I'm like, look, I'm the manager. Don't do what is that old saying?
Do as I say, not as I do.
Do as I say, not as I do, right? Like I could probably have whatever bad habit I want to have because I was a manager, and we talk about this all the time on my trainings. It wasn't the best of leaders whenever I started managing in Planet Beaches and in my career. Now I am, go figure, I hope so because I'm hosting Monday Motivation calls, so I got to be able to lead. But in the beginning, I was terrible. So I just managed, and I was just, so that's an inferior fear. Like, look, this is your goal. Don't ask questions. This is what I'm telling you have to do. You're not clocking out today until you hit this goal. So good luck. I'll hold you hostage. I will tie you to this computer until you finish doing what you have to do. But don't create that inferior fear with them. It's a terrible example of that. That means that there's all management and no leadership skills. I'm the boss. That's why. Bad employees, they're created. They're not born. You're the biggest cheerleaders that they have, and too much boss-fearing seeds planted equals higher employee turnover. And keep this in mind, you guys. And if you're a franchisee or if you're a spa director, a lot of people in the roles that they are today in spas that are not top performers, it's because they have leaders or people in roles due to desperation. The spa director quit, walked out, and they had to promote from within because they just didn't have the time or resources to go out and allocate new staff members. The same goes for consultants. Don't allow them to hold anyone hostage in that store. Constantly training and constantly having a good approach to your training is key. So ask each consultant, that's huge. Ask each consultant how they tend to learn better and faster. Don't just train them based on how you are trained. Again, I'm a perfect example of how I've learned that the hard way myself. So you want to be sure to ask them, don't tell them. Somebody might learn way easier and more effectively doing it in a visual on a webinar or hands-on, complete opposite approach. You know what? Don't give me a webinar. I don't absorb information that way. It's not effective. I'll fall asleep and I'll start doing 6 things at one time because it's too easy to do that. I need you to show me, physically show me. Tell me, then show me. But it's important that you ask those questions. A disciplinary approach, when we talked about this Friday, we talked about have this process in place for more reasons than one. It gives you a structure to follow. That way you're not just letting people constantly get away with using the excuse, I forgot, or oh, I didn't remember that, or I didn't know that. When you follow the approach, follow the strike one's my fault as a manager. I must not have communicated it clearly enough. Let's go ahead and redo this whole training. Assure that they understand it at that point on and moving forward. A verbal warning first, write up, second, write up, third, write up, the termination, and follow it to a T. Now, another reason why it's important to do that is also you are creating a paper trail for HR purposes. There's got to be some type of structure in there where you have a paper trail that covers all of this for you when it comes to employees that quit or get fired. It's important to have documentation on all of that. Motivating approach, we talked about the tiered incentivizing system last Friday. They have a monthly goal for individuals, have a quarterly goal that's a bigger budget, and then have a yearly goal that's mainly for your directors and spa directors, ASDs. But if you see a decline in morale, if that's right now currently where you're at, this is just a little tip. If you've noticed a decline in morale among your staff lately, loss of confidence, anything that'll cause a decrease in your productivity and cross into your profiting, be the voice of positivity. A positive attitude can make all the difference in more sales than just providing solutions whenever you're faced with 1,000 problems. So consider this. You have a staff or you have a spa director or an ASD or consultants of people that are like, we're never going to hit that goal today. It's raining outside. There's no possible way. Who do you want me to sell to? How do you want me to get somebody in the door today whenever it's like this? And blah, 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 blah. I guarantee you, when you respond to every single negative outburst that they might have to you or communication, if every time you respond with a positive, eventually they get the point and they stop. So if you say, okay, so we only have 4 red appointments on the books, the requirement is 12, you're responsible of getting 2 of those people, so you don't have any reds. Yeah, well, it's raining outside today. Okay, no worries. Yeah, I know, the weather is terrible, but you know what? Here's some ideas. Why don't you do this? Call some members. What about those members that are great members that you know off the top of your head right now you can rattle off because you know they come in every single day? Call them first. That'll be so much easier. And look here, I even put together some ideas on how to approach that conversation. So don't worry about the rain. Girl, we have this. We have this. We're going to get this done today. We got this because that's what sets us apart. How many times is that person going to constantly keep coming at you with a negative response when you keep responding to their negativity with a positive? So keep that in mind. Anytime you see that, implement that. As much as it might drive you crazy, maybe it's a conflict of your personality. Maybe you're like, you just want to kill somebody, but don't let them see it. Don't show that. It's another approach part of this training. Your approach to that has got to be, no matter what you're feeling, if you're talking through your teeth and you're like grinding your teeth because you're just ready to say, oh my God, just stop being so negative, don't respond that way. They want you to respond that way. Respond with a positive. We talked about your Reds approach. We talked about the appearances. Yes, they do judge a book by its cover, approaching the lead, approaching the Red appointment, approaching the confirmation of the Red appointment, and then following up with missed guests. I wish that I can ask a show of hands question right now to find out when you're booking Red appointments, how many of you are actually, every single day your routine is confirm the ones on the books for today, and 5 to 10 minutes after their appointment time, if they don't show up, you're following up with a missed guest call. I'd love to see how many of you are actually doing that, and if you aren't, that's the change that you need to make that we talked about in the very beginning here and on Friday. The hardest part about change is implementation. Implement the change. If all you're doing is bare minimum right now, saying that you're doing your Reds efforts, it's not 100% Reds efforts if you're not confirming or doing any missed guest follow-up, because you're just allowing people to slip through the cracks at that point. How can you promise consumers that you're going to make them look good, feel great if your appearance is not put together? We talked about that Friday. I'm not going to keep kicking that horse with you guys, because you definitely know what you're supposed to look like. If you're looking at the screen, you see what the no-nos are. If you're looking at the screen now, you see what we need to look like. We need to look like a person that cannot be judged by any type of individual. Don't give them the opportunity to do so, and get your act together. So the number one prospecting rule that we talked about on Friday that we're going to cover again is if you don't allocate a first, last name, and telephone number, and trying to get an email address most of the time, if you don't get that, as long as you got a phone number, that's good, honestly, to anybody's, to your franchisees, in our eyes. As long as you have a first and last name and a phone number, that is the number one prospecting rule. Everything else, if you're handing out guest passes, gift certificates, putting lead boxes everywhere, handing out flyers in your B2Bs, leaving things somewhere, that's marketing. That's brand awareness. It's not prospecting. So keep that in mind whenever you're training your staff on this. And a quote from our CEO that I say on a daily basis, because it is the best quote I've heard since being in this role, is at the end of the day, don't forget, you are not in any other business other than the Red appointment generation business. Every project should always be about how you can get more Reds. That is what we do. We need, 1, to improve our Red appointment booking, and then 2, make sure they show up for the appointment. 3, close the deal when they get to the spa. Best quote ever, because how are you going to get ratio and retention when you don't have any Reds? It starts from the very top, and that's the snowball effect. But it starts even higher because if you don't have staff that can bring them in, or if they're not approaching any of these situations correctly, then you won't be successful. So keep that in mind. 3 major things when marketing and prospecting. When training your staff on allocating a Red appointment, they must keep in mind, this is the easiest. These are those tips, you guys, that I always talk about in our trainings, where I say I'll throw in some easy tips and stuff to remember whenever you're doing your trainings. When you send somebody out, tell them always, 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 if they have common sense and critical thinking skills, okay, which is key in your staff. If you know you don't have a staff with any of that, then this is pointless. But if you know for a fact you have a staff that can figure it out, tell them before you send them out, just remember in the back of your mind the entire time that you're out prospecting, what is your end goal? Have them respond to you to where you have them physically tell you what their end goal is. Their end goal is you're giving them a specific goal, a SMART goal. You want to tell them how many leads you're expecting from them going out there, how many people you're expecting to sign up from these leads, and you're asking for them to be quality leads. You're telling them exactly what to take, how to dress, what they look like, and you're doing role play. But put yourselves in the shoes of the consumer is what you want to discuss with your consultants. When you're out there, don't approach somebody and just start talking about Planet Beach. That is probably, you guys, the most common misconception, and where everybody that is seeing failure rates with this, that's probably where it's falling, is they're not putting themselves in a consumer's shoes, and they're just sitting there kicking off a conversation with, hey, have you heard of Planet Beach? Never kick off a conversation when you're prospecting with, hi, have you ever heard about Planet Beach before? Then you become the annoying fragrance counter girl. You become the car salesman. You become those people in the mall that have the stands where they're like, let me straighten your hair. Let's do your eyebrows. No, you become that person and they're running from you. And they're like, oh my God, those Planet Beach girls are so annoying. Don't go in there. They're going to eat you alive. So have them trained to know when you approach any conversation to get a Red appointment, what would you need to hear in order to get excited about it? First of all, that's why we have in our training, compliment. I can tell you that that was like my biggest secret I had up my sleeve when I used to work in the spas was I would approach somebody and find something I'd like, the same as the guest greeting. The same as the guest greeting training that you guys have gotten on PBU and franchisee schools if you've attended. Always kicking off with a compliment does what? Brings a guard down, and people love talking about themselves. So I'm going to approach this random person at an event, and I'm going to go, I'm so sorry to bother you. I just had to tell you, I love those shoes. I have to find out where you got them from because I'm actually looking for a cute pair of wedges. I don't know. Honestly, they might be the worst pair of wedges I've ever seen in my life. But here's the thing. That person is like, oh, thank you. And if it's a female, we know the female on female crime, folks. We want to be able to bring that guard down because instantly, what's the first thing that consumer's doing? Looking at you, knowing that you're coming from Planet Beach, 9 times out of 10, that sounds like a look good, feel good type of company, and they're judging you. They're judging Planet Beach looking at this consultant at that very moment saying, oh my God, her skin is so pretty. Oh my God, he's got great hair. Oh my God, I want to look like that. Her teeth are so white, blah, 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 blah. That's the first thing that they do whenever they're responding to your compliment. So having them know what's your end goal. I need to get something from this person. I need to get information from this person. If I approach, okay, perfect example. I'm going to tie it into a personal situation. I'm in a public place. Now, you guys on the call, you know me. Single, ready to mingle. So I'm in a public place, and I see a person of interest. I'm like, he looks great. What am I going to do in order to get that person's information if I want to be seen, heard, and want to get his information? Well, I know my end goal here is to get his phone number, right? And this is a personal scenario. My end goal is to get his phone number. Am I going to walk up and just start randomly talking about what I like? Hey, can I start talking about my benefits and features of myself? I like long walks on the beach. I love reading books. This person's going to back up and be like, good for you, lady. Why are you talking to me like that? And instantly going to get turned off to the idea of ever dating me. So I think that might be the best example I can give to you guys with tying this in to personal life situations when it comes to the approach on getting a name and number. Ask your consultants based on their scenarios. If you saw a person you liked and you wanted to get their phone number, would you just randomly start going up and start talking about fun facts about yourself? Or would you open the conversation with something that would strike up their attention and have them want to have interest in you and take that interest in you where they're asking you the questions about what you like to do, where you like to go out, getting information that's going to build up into sharing that information with each other. The only time it's okay for people to control with questions, and write this down, because you'll hear the opposite when it comes to selling a membership. The only situation that is acceptable whenever it is the consumer or the customer asking you the questions is when you're prospecting and marketing and trying to do your REDS approaches only. When they ask questions during the sales process, that means that's not a good thing. It's abort, red flag, change the mission. You have got to turn it around at that point. But when you are prospecting, that used to be what I'd send my consultants out with. I would say your end goal is get it to where they come to you, or they eventually in your conversations ask you, so what's Planet Beach? What is that? I'm so glad you asked. Because not like you need it, but you have really great skin already. But some of the different things that we offer is skincare treatments, skin imperfection treatments and enhancement services. We have weight management services that burn calories, and oh, okay, well, how do you do that? How do you burn calories? How are these services you're talking about? What do you mean? Is it like massages and things like that, or is it working out? Is it a gym? No, but I'm glad you asked those questions. It's okay when they're asking questions. That's a good thing. That means that those prospects are engaged and they want to get that information, but how are you going to get there to open that up? It's all about that approach. So teach them that. What is your end goal? How do you need to be talked to in order to give your information over to somebody? And what are you offering out in the field? If you're noticing that your show rate is low, if you fall into that number, I can tell you that's a telltale sign right there to me that your offer is not exciting enough. Maybe you need to bump it up. Maybe one free spa service isn't going to cut it. It's not going to make me get off my couch, I could tell you. And again, I'm Eileen. So give me something a little bit more. After my long day of work, I get home and I start doing my laundry and I get in my PJs. I need to be excited to leave my house at that point. You better tell me that Channing Tatum's at one of your spas, because that's the only time I'm going to leave my house to show up at a spa. Or if you give me a week membership because you have a special campaign going on, right? Or a full day at the spa. What is your incentive? What is your offer, in other words? So take a look at that if you notice your show rate is low. And never ever forget the opportunities to bring in a friend. The most common 100% hands down thing that you forget out there in the field is you get so excited when you get a name and number, like, yeah, I got a red and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to close them and I'm going to invite them in. I'm going to do all these great things because I'm consultant of the year. But if you walk away with just one name, number, and email address, start putting it into their heads that you only 50% succeeded, not 100% succeeded, because you always want to get at least one person additionally their name, number, and email. Now, here's a helpful hint that I'm going to share with you guys, and hopefully you're paying attention to write this down. The best way to get a friend or friends' names and phone numbers out of a consumer, because we all know how hard it is to get a consumer to turn over information. They're weird about it. They don't want you soliciting their friends. No, I'm not giving you their information. Well, you know what? You decided you wanted to come in and utilize this free stuff. We're excited to have you. We are offering this to your friends. However, in order for us to reserve the places in our appointment book for you to be able to accommodate these friends, I'm going to need at least a name and a telephone number, because that is what our database requires in order to save a profile in there, which will ultimately in turn successfully let me block this time off whenever you decide to come in. So I'll just need that information for that reason only. I promise you it's only to get information saved to block off the time that you choose. So that's my helpful hint and advice for prospecting of the day. Hopefully you wrote that down. If you have questions, just email and I'll be more than happy to walk you through that. We just discussed all of those little approaches on sending them out to prospect. Always ask and find out before they go, all those questions, right? What's your end goal? Having them repeat it to you, talking about their approach. But do you have all the materials that you need? A smart device. If you have a tablet, you guys, give them a tablet. That's the best way. You don't want to chance them using their cell phones and in the middle of them showcasing the hydrodermafusion treatment. Here comes, a private picture of their boyfriend that pops up in the middle of explaining relaxation, and then, oh, look at that. TMI, right? So, oh my God, those girls at Planet Beach are freaks, right? We don't want to talk that way. We don't want to look that way to the public, and you're chancing they're using that their cell phones are out there and they're showing all these pictures. You don't want to be that company known for that. So keep that in mind. If you have a tablet, control the situation like we talked about before. If it's a change you need to make that's teeny tiny that you think does not have that type of impact, it does. Because I'm more impressed seeing a consultant approach me with a tablet showcasing it versus her personal cell phone. Just saying. Keep that in mind. And I'm Eileen. Registration slips, do you have those, or any type of takeaway material, clipboard with paper where they can write their names and phone numbers on it? Usually people like to use the registration slips from the lead boxes. And any giveaway items, maybe you have keychains, pens, notepads, t-shirts, whatever you might have in your spa that you can give away. It's great for brand awareness. You're giving them something Planet Beach that stays in the eyes, ears, and minds of them if they take it to their office and use it every single day. Planet Beach is in their face. Review the purpose. SMART goals. Your purpose of going out today is to allocate at least 50 leads. That's 50 names, 50 numbers, and 50 email addresses if you can get email addresses. It's a non-negotiable that you collect this. So guess what? If that event ends and you're at 38 names, numbers, and email addresses, I highly recommend a few things I would do if my boss told me that my goal was 50 and I had 38 and were my boss telling me this. I'd sit in my car and pull up Facebook names and start getting my friends' names before I walked in without at least 50 people's names. That's whenever you start shifting the whole reds are a goal to reds are a requirement thing. And then tell them what they need to bring in to get the second red. Remember, it's only 50% success if you just get one out of somebody. Get at least one, try for 2 additional friends to bring in with them. Remind them not to sound too catchy, and they don't want this offer, and that they want the offer to this to lead as brand awareness offering. So just make sure that whenever you do that whole now do your approach to me. What are you going to do out there when you're listening and paying attention? Look for the signs of, do you sound too gimmicky? Do you sound like there's a catch? Are you sounding like you're roping me in for some kind of sale? Are you genuinely wanting to give me something for free? If they sound anything like that, correct it. So now we're getting into the part we never got to cover last Friday. And we talked a little bit about it, but the 3 types of consumers, when actually now there's 4. So I apologize. I should have updated that. But the different types of consumers, this is that testimonial that you guys saw from Courtney Daigle, our multi-unit manager out in New York, who is our Eagle winner, award winner from convention. So congrats again for that. I know she's on the call. That's why she's so great, because she stays up to date with these webinars. But this was something that helped her, because she's like, you're right, there are different types of consumers. This is so important, you guys, because if ratio is your problem and reds are not, if ratio is your issue, you are not closing memberships, it is 100% all in what they sound like whenever they're going through the different program presentations and offering to close. The different approaches to these very, very different customers. It's never going to be the same. Because these different types are different types of consumers, I am not going to talk to one like I talk to the other. I'm not going to incentivize one specific type the way I incentivize another, because they are motivated by completely different benefits that your program offers. So what we want to do is go through what those different types of consumers are. And that's A, your red appointment. Well, they're a red appointment, common sense moment here. They're a red appointment because they have an offer already. So they'll never be a red appointment with no offer. They don't walk in and say, I had an appointment, but I don't know why. So they had an appointment to redeem something, a free service, a free day, a free week, based on your marketing and prospecting efforts. So the red appointment that has an offer. The walk-in without the offer. So I just walked in, I drove past, I'm on my way back to work, and I just wanted to get prices on a spray tan. Then there's the walk-in with the offer or a daily deal. I bought a Groupon. I was working out at this gym that maybe you guys have a B2B set up with. I saw this gas pass sitting on the front counter when I signed in. What's this about? Can I get these free sessions? And then the last one, and I want you to write it down because I don't have it listed on here, but they are the existing customers that are, maybe they bought 1 month, 3 month, maybe they bought 10 sessions, they're habitual with that, but your existing customers that come in every day but are not currently committed to you with an EFT. They're not members, but they're also not fresh off the street where, you got to start from A to Z explaining what Planet Beach is, what the services do, how they're going to benefit them, because they are using services. They are using your spa. They are just not making a commitment to you. So that's the fourth type of consumer that you always hear us talk about. Whenever it gets slow and you need Memcash, call all your expiring paid in fulls, call all of your people that are down to 3, 2, 1 sessions left and re-up them and get some sales over the phone. That is the fourth type of consumer. The step process to remember. You know the scripts. You've taken PBU. I see all of you that are on here, okay? You know the scripts, and I'm confident in that. I know you know the training. Most of you I see here, you have been a franchisee school. I'm not going through a script or a process here. I'm going through a step-by-step to remember, to tie in. If a red appointment comes in, what steps do I need to follow? Well, if a red appointment comes in, I'm going to follow, first off, the guest greeting that I already learned. I'm going to follow the PSP. Here, have a seat. This is going to basically give me a snapshot view of what exact services we have to offer that I know for a fact I'm going to showcase to you in order for me to give you specifics on getting set up with using what you want to use, what you're going to get the most out of on this guest pass, and then doing the tour based on how they respond. That's the first thing that you do. Follow that system. At this time, because it's a red appointment, guys, now most of the time, I'm going to give you a tip here and you hopefully write it down. If a red appointment is coming in with an offer, they have a guard up for the most part. They're expecting a catch. No, nothing is free, right? We know this as salespeople, and we know this as being human beings. Nothing in life is free. So when you go in with something in hand saying, I had gotten this for free, you know as a consumer that these people's end goal is they're a business. So that means ultimately, either they're going to push it on me or they're going to try to make this the best experience yet and make me a member to where I'm ultimately giving them my money. But this is a business. They're not operating and they're not able to accommodate me right now if it weren't for the fact that they need to make money. So keep that in mind. When a red appointment is set, they're expecting something. Don't give them a reason to throw a guard up by going into talking about the different program prices. If you have consultants in training and they're following this process and they're pitching or doing any type of program presentation for memberships before getting these people who came in on an appointment to use services for free, sale is dead. Sale is killed. Red appointment protocol steps, do the first 3 steps of the sales process, which is the guest greeting, PSP tour, then put that. Now I cannot wait to get you into these services. I'm going to get these samples together of the products that you're going to need to use in order for these services to give you the results that I was discussing with you. While I get that together, go ahead and sign the release form for me. These are the consent forms that they have got to sign off on that you guys are very well aware about. While they're filling that out, here's my tip for you guys of the week, and please write this down if you have red scheduled, especially for today and tomorrow, and you want to close them. Tip of the week is if it's a red appointment, we talked about the cardinal rule of not pitching prices, but now that you've built this relationship with them, they can't wait. You've incorporated every opportunity possible to say throughout the whole process so far, I can't wait to get you in the services. You're going to love them. I'm so jealous. Can't wait to get in there after I get off today, right? All of those little things, incorporating in that. That is your opportunity, you guys. They're filling paperwork out. It is that moment of silence. It is that moment where you're filling it in with all, that conversation. You're striking it up like the weather's great today, or, giving them more compliments. I wanted to tell you I like that sweater too. Where'd you get that one from? And so on and so forth. All those little things that you're currently filling that awkward silence up with, use that as an opportunity to plant a seed. This is my tip of the week, so hopefully you take that with you. Plant a seed by saying, I'm so glad that you came in and took advantage of whatever the offer is. Everybody's going crazy about that because you remember it was a brand awareness campaign. That's the reason you're giving them something free. You're just trying to get your name out there and get it not associated with just being a tanning salon only. So they got this as a brand awareness campaign, and that's the seed you're planting into their head is that's the purpose of you being in here. I just want you to get services for free. However, incorporating and planting the seed of the price point is usually the best. If you have that opportunity, that's the best thing that you can do while they're filling that paperwork out. I'm so glad you're coming in and taking advantage of this. We have been slammed with everybody coming in and using these services. That's like it's insane to me how many people I've seen love these. I know you're going to have the same reaction. The other part of the brand awareness campaign that we're doing right now, that's been keeping us busy too, because the second half is all these people that are buying back what they didn't even pay for, becoming members left and right. I mean, once they hear $59 a month to use this as often as they want, they lose it. And they're like, oh my God, I have to have it by the time they leave. So we've definitely experienced a high influx of new members coming in off of this brand awareness campaign when all we're trying to do is just tell people we're not just a tanning salon. So you see what I did there? I incorporated that and I planted that seed of it's only $59 a month to do this all the time. What is then going to happen to that specific customer? You're going to put them into a service and you're going to give them the best experience yet. You're going to wine them, dine them. You're going to set them up. You're going to get them a cup of water between services that they're using. You're going to walk them to the next service room. You're going to make them feel like royalty. And the entire time, guess what's going on in the back of their minds? They're thinking, I can do this. For $59 a month, I can do this as often as I want. I'm going to come out of the back when I'm finished. And if I, at that point as a consultant, if I am not getting the question from that person of, hey, what did you say? It was $59 a month. Can I get that? If I don't get that, then I feel like I failed. Personally. So keep that in mind. That's an opportunity for you to plant a seed without doing the programs pitching, without talking about the memberships, because you don't want to talk about memberships and prices because that's the second that they see that was the catch. And they're going to Yelp about you. Trust me. They will get on Google and they will say, don't fall for it, people. Avoid that place like the plague. When they offer you something free, it's just because they're going to try to get you to sign up for something and get you in a contract, or, whenever you see those reviews, that's usually when it happens. And guys, every single time, no matter what the offer is, buy it back. It does not have to be a Groupon. It does not have to be something that was paid for, Living Social. It does not have to be anything that has specifically been bought in the first place by that consumer. Buy back something they haven't even paid for. What a great customer experience. So think about the fact of somebody walking in on their red appointment that has an offer that they were given to get something for free just for brand awareness purposes, and then it's like, look, you know what else I can do for you? Let's say they go ahead and they bite on that $59 a month. To get you set up on this specific program today, it's usually $158, but because we got you a day of spa services, that's valued typically that's valued at about $100. So what I can do is, although you didn't pay for this, I can manipulate into the system and treat it as if you did, and I can buy this back from you, and I could put that towards that $158. It'd just be $58 today. So why don't we just go ahead and get you set up for just that $58 and, nodding the head and, getting them to do the whole, everything you've already learned in franchisee school and on PBU, those little tricks of sales. Then what you guys have to remember to do that a lot of our top spas are doing, they're not letting them leave empty-handed. And I don't mean products. I mean your products and service regime form. You guys heard of this before. I know you've heard about this specific document. It is in Orion in Spa Performance folders. Please get that out. Give them a schedule when they leave, not just products. Have it to where it's on a piece of paper. A person is more inclined psychologically when they see a schedule of, okay, she set me up to come in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday to do hydration and UV, and on Tuesday and Thursday I'm going to be doing hydration and red light. I don't know. And on Fridays I'll do my Mystic or my PB Glow by Norvell or whatever sunless service that I have. So if I see that I have like a schedule that my consultant, because she's not a salesperson, she's a consultant that I gave specific areas of focus to that she is being paid to fix for me, okay? So she's my consultant. She's telling me this is what I need to do in order to see those results. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be more inclined to do it. I'm not going to question you because it's there. It's a calendar of what to use, when to use it, and how often I need to use the services. So remember to use that tool because, guys, again, top spas are using this. They're not letting them leave out of there without this. And what that does is gets them on a routine of coming in often. And what happens with routines? Those form into habits. When someone has a habit of coming in, it is a hard habit to break. Once you get past coming in so often, they will never quit you because they'll see those results. They'll fall in love with your staff and they'll never ever leave you. And they'll constantly give you referrals. So another missed opportunity that top spas are doing, if you feel like you're not, if you are not a top spa on this call, another missed opportunity is getting the second sale at the point of sale. Now, we all know the features and benefits of the second sale, right? It does not affect your point of sale cost at the time you're ringing up a new member. So if you want to add somebody on, there's no additional enrollment fees. Your price of $58 that I just gave you stays $58. So there is no additional cost. The person you're adding on has 30 days to decide if they want to keep it, if they love it or hate it. So you're removing anxiety of saying, I can't make a commitment for someone if I don't know if they're going to like it. No, don't worry. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. We have 30 days. So let them come in. Let them see if they like it. Use these services. If they hate it, okay, no worries. Like I said, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I just hate for you to miss this opportunity because it's a point of sale opportunity only. I can't do this again ever. So if this person ever decides to come in with you, wants to get a membership, you're going to pay double. So let's just do this now. Knock it out. Process of elimination. It's a good power phrase there for you to say in a situation like that. And also, it's half of what you're paying. It's half of your member dues. Why wouldn't you? All the reason to do that, trust me. And the assumptive sale technique approach is the perfect way to get that second sale add-on. No, don't worry about it. Look, we can fix it. If it's something that they don't want, we can always go back and remove it at no penalty. There's no restrictions. There's no requirements. And then lastly, before they walk out that door, I'm giving you a script as we speak, so write this down. As you are giving them their products, you're handing them their regime form, and they're about to walk out the door, you have them download the app, like your Facebook page, you do all that, go through your checklist of things. Before they turn around and walk towards that door after you set them up, make it a point to say, okay, now, we got you all set up. Congratulations. Welcome to the family. We can't wait to be able to do all these great things for you. Do you want to discuss now with me how we can actually get what we just set you up with? Do you want to talk about the fact that we can pay for this for you and it's free? Or do you want me to go ahead and set that up to discuss with you tomorrow when you come in to utilize tomorrow's services? Saying that, I can promise you about 80% of the time, they will say, I'm sorry, what? You can pay for this membership and you're just telling me this now? Yeah, I want to know. I don't want to pay for this. How? So that usually is when you open up that conversation to say, hey, yeah, so tell me a little bit about that. I want my membership for free. Okay, well, cool. Here's what you do. All you got to do is give away a week of spa. So if you want, what most of our members do, okay, this is the second part of the script that I'm giving you, so write this down. What most of our members end up doing, usually it's whenever they're in the services, they'll leave their cell phones up here sometimes, but they'll go and dig in their Facebooks pages when they're in the services if they can use their phones in the specific services that they're in, and they're already getting people's information because they know all they have to do is just give away a week's unlimited spa. And if by chance any of those people decide they want to become a member the same way you did because you loved it, then for every month, for every member that person's friend that they give a week membership away to, we pay for that month. You can bank it. You can use it the next month. It's up to you. But usually people like banking it, putting it off and holding it to the side, because once they get to 5 people that they give these week memberships away to for free, once they get to 5 of those who actually become members the same way you have today, they get an entire year that we pay their monthly dues for them. I'm not saying the word free too much because that's gimmicky, it's catchy, it's, oh, you're giving me a referral process. I would instantly identify to it, just my personal scenario. But have it to where it makes it's like a loyalty thing. It's like a, hey, you know, we're just trying to get the brand awareness continued. Based on how we got you in the door was brand awareness, the same goes for you. We're doing the same. We want to implement and get your network of people out there because we're trying to get our name out there as much as possible that it's brand awareness. That's all it looks like to you as the new member. And to me, that is, I'm getting referrals out of you. And what is one of the things on our daily checklist to do in the daily marketing checklist? If you guys use it, you know, one of the main things is allocate at least 5 referrals daily per consultant. So if you know that that's a must, show them that, give them that script, give them the first part, the second part, and I guarantee you this person will start saying, give me the sheet, and they'll pull out their contact sheet because they're going to want their membership paid for, obviously. Don't forget to put a little checklist training in place. Don't let a new member walk out without downloading the app and telling them that they can book online, and don't let them walk out without liking your Facebook page, following your Twitter accounts, Instagrams, whatever else you got floating around out there, all that stuff. I don't even know anymore. But don't let them walk out without liking that, because you're always having really cool offers. You're doing business partnership spotlights of the week. So you have business partners of restaurants sometimes that they'll offer our customers like a free dinner, a free appetizer. We post that to our Facebook pages sometimes for our members. So make sure you go and like our page for that reason. Never for reasons of specials and promotions. Do not vocalize that, because then they're going to instantly say, oh God, no. Because let me tell you, do you guys follow any businesses on Facebook that post a lot about specials?
Yes, they're so annoying.
And that's where I hid the feed. Like I hide the feed. I can't even see it anymore. So that's the first thing people are thinking. When you say, go like our page, because when we run discounts on things or have specials and sales, although that's your purpose ultimately, so you can have another area to implement some type of communication about a special and sale, don't tell them that, because you're telling them basically, hide me. Hide my newsfeed. So don't do that. Don't go there. Don't set it up to where you're planting a seed in their mind that you're going to just basically be harassing their newsfeed. You're going to be just taking over their newsfeed with all these specials and discounts. That's annoying, and that's not why they have Facebook. So keep that in mind. Now the walk-ins with an offer similar to red appointments, I won't go through that with you just because it is the same exact thing as a red appointment, only it's an unexpected red appointment, so you may or may not have had time to go back or to go and prepare for this specific person walking in. But the same exact step process. You can still buy back whatever it is in their hand the same way you can with a red. Now the walk-in that just wants prices. One of the main things I'm going to give you as advice as I write this down is, if there's somebody coming in saying hurry, 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 and they're rushing you, you will not be successful in getting the most bang for your buck if you are conforming to their rushing you. And how you can accommodate those situations and how you can overcome those situations are, if somebody's coming in saying, I just need to know, how much is it going to cost for Mystic? Well, you're sitting there trying to say, well, here's the thing. Because nobody's skin type is the same and nobody's color will be the same and nobody's skin takes the same as some other people's might take for that spray, I need to do a little profile on you, which usually does not take long for our members. But for them to really understand how I can get you set up with the exact price, I'm going to need to know exactly which colors, which levels you would need to use. I would need to know which additives you need to use, because, if you're just looking for any kind of color and you don't care how it comes out, then I can give you the basic all-in-all price. But if you actually care what it looks like and you don't want to look like somebody accidentally spilled paint on you, we're going to need to take a little bit more time. So why don't we look at your schedule? What time do you get off of work today? Because I'm still going to be here. I'd love to be able to take a little bit of time to be able to explain this to you better. Book the red when they come in if they're rushing you too much. Do not conform to their rushing habits because you're going to be lowballing yourself. You're going to be undercutting yourself and your commissions, and train your staff to know that as well. Don't just do that because then you end up just selling one Mystic and no additives. So you sell one Mystic and one cartridge, and that's a fail. That's not a complete fail because what you do there is you bought time. You've heard me say that before. You sold them something, but it's a fail to have utilized and taken advantage of every opportunity to getting a new member out of that person. So remember that, keep that in mind, and use that in your training tactics. But the walk-in without an offer, you go through the entire sales process from guest greeting, you PSP, you tour, and you pitch programs. Why? Because they asked what the prices are. Now, here's what I will tell you. Write this down. Always have a calculator that is not a phone, okay? We don't want, again, any personal conversations popping up when you're trying to showcase a visual sales tactic. But always have a calculator of some sort with you when you're sitting down pitching this price to them and they're asking you for prices. Now, we are starting it off with, now because Planet Beach is a member-driven organization, the people you've seen coming in and out of here since you've walked in, these are members because it's convenient. We have a convenient pay plan that they love just because they don't have to remember to come in. It's so inexpensive and it's such a great value that let's just go through this here, okay? Now I'm going to tell you, this is our membership, our program that we can offer to you. $89 a month gets you going through the features and benefits. That gets you unlimited service usage to coming in and going as you please. You have guest privileges, so you can bring guests with you. If they're not members, no worries. Your aunt's in town, your mom's with you, you just had lunch with your mother. You don't have to worry about going home to drop her off and coming back. Stop in with her because that's one of the benefits. You're a valued member. You're elite, top of the line. Like, that builds value. This membership is freezable. This membership is, you have a one-time transfer. So let's say you need to get out of it for whatever reason. You're not using it for whatever reason. You wouldn't pay the full price point that month. We'd freeze it for you until you were ready to come back with some limitations on how long. Now, you get a one-time transfer fee. You have a one-time transfer opportunity to be able to gift this to anybody that you'd like because this is valued at $149 a month. Wow, at $89 a month, this is valued at $149 a month. This is awesome. I want this. Because why? If you're ever in an area you see another Planet Beach, you can stop in and use their services. Now, if you're using Mystic or Sunless or any type of spray, then there is a solution fee that will be involved, but that'd be the only fee that would tie into that and any products that you might need. However, you are the run of you have the run of the spa, the run of the company. You are a Planet Beach member. At that time, you can discuss the loyalty program that's tied in with that too. And you know what? Even after you've been a member with us for a certain period of time, that price point will even cut in half for you. So you would be fixing and implementing and addressing something that is going to be a permanent problem for you. You'll not stop aging. You'll not stop worrying about your weight management. We are our toughest critics. So you're addressing and providing a solution to a permanent problem with a permanent solution. You have this. This will cut in half eventually. You'd be surprised how many people value loyalty programs than you think. So remember that approach. I'm not talking anything about the membership's features and benefits of just basically, okay, well, it's month to month and you pay this much money and it's an automated draft and to cancel you have to do this. Those are, you're just going over terms. The approach has to be, what do I need to hear as a consumer? Remember, train your staff to know. I need to tell this person what I see $89 value in. I can freeze it. That's awesome. I can give it away. It's usually $149 a month. I can give an $89 price point away where, in my mind, what you told me was my friend would have to pay $149 a month to get the same membership, but if I move, I can give her my price point. That's awesome. They want to hear that it's a convenient pay plan. They don't want to hear automatic draft. They don't know what the heck an EFT is. They don't need to be, you need to talk to them like a consumer, not how you internally speak to each other. Common misconception. So remember that when you're covering features and benefits. They need to hear, oh, convenient pay plan, that's how I pay my phone bill. That's how I pay my gas bill, my light bill. Tie it into that same type of talk. The same way that you probably pay your current bills, same way. And it's at just that one price point of $89. Now, let's take a look at how they at that time respond. That's important for you to train your staff on. How they respond is going to determine your next approach with these walk-ins or whenever you do pitch the actual membership. They're going to give you an objection at that point. Remember, there is an approach to overcoming an objection. That is huge, you guys. If you approach overcoming an objection incorrectly, or that you're annoyed with them, or that clearly you're just trying to sell them something because you're not listening or paying attention to their actual concerns, first of all, if they're giving you an objection, train your staff to know that's a good sign, because if they were not interested, they wouldn't ask questions and they'd just say, no thanks, no thanks. Why don't you want it? I just don't want it. That's whenever you're fighting an uphill battle. But if they're the ones giving you objections saying, oh my God, I really love it, but you know what? It's too much money. Okay, no worries. Listen, remember we talked on Friday? You are not a sales consultant or a spa consultant. You are a scenario consultant. You're a life consultant. Find solutions to what their objections are, and always transition with the script line of, I don't want, fill in the blank, to be the reason you don't become a member with us today. So whatever the objection is, let's say it's price point, figure out, is it initially that $189 to get started, or is it the ongoing $89? Because at that point, what you can do is take it down a level. Take it down a level. Oh, well, you know what? $89 a month is a lot. I just switched jobs. I'm not getting commission yet for my job that I'm in right now, whatever the case might be. It's not this very moment price point. It's the ongoing price point. Okay, well, look, you know what? Like I said, we can work with you. We work with all of our individual, members and their scenarios. So what if I remove some of the benefits that I just discussed with you on that membership? What if I remove the capability for you to be able to utilize every location? Maybe I took away a couple of different, what about that loyalty rewards? You're worried about that right now, or are you just trying to see results right away? Yeah, no, I could do without that. I'm just going to come to this location. Okay, well, you know what? If that's the case, I could probably knock that price point down to about $60 a month, $59, $60 a month. Is that better for you at that time? They're going to feel so amazing. They're going to feel so important. They're going to feel like they matter to you, and their situation and scenario matters to you, and they won't feel like a sale at that time. They're going to feel like you're trying to hook them up, not take their money. So that approach that you took in that case scenario, that approach just won you a new member. And I promise you, if you do this every single time, you'll sell nothing less than a gold membership, unless they're a student and they literally have no money. Then you obviously would sell them $39 or $19. But at that time, you will see higher success. You'll see higher EFT increases if you do it that way, and that your approach is all tied into that. Now, if somebody does not like an EFT, if somebody does not want something coming out of their account, don't discard it. Don't discredit their actual feelings about that. Empathize. You want them to know that you care. You don't want to blow them off. They can read through that and see that you're a car salesman and what they do when you tell them, I can't afford a $45,000 car. You are smoking. Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah, you can. Let me just talk to some more finance companies and they bully you. Don't be that person. Your approach on those needs to always and every time be, remember that calculator? Let them see for themselves, $39 every single time I want to use a service here. You're recommending I come in 2 times a week. That's 39 times 2 is what? What's 40 and 40? 40 and 40 is $80. I'm going to use on average 2 services a day. If I come in twice a week, that's 80 times 2, which is what? $180 a week. Multiply that times 4 for them on that calculator, which you're showing them is about $360 at that time. This is on as a minimum. If you don't get set up on that easy and convenient pay plan that I was telling you that most of our members do because of this reason right here, this is what you chance to be spending in order to see those results and hit the goals we just talked about during your tour and getting to know you and doing your PSP. So do you want to pay $360, $370 a month? Or do you want to pay $89 a month to get way more benefits and have all of the elite benefits and features of being a member? Which one do you want? Because most of the members at that time, they usually tell me, okay, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry. Plus, you get a 20% discount on all products when you become a member this day, when you become an actual easy pay plan member. You don't get that whenever you just purchase individual sessions. So that will also help them in knowing, well, I'm going to need products anyway, right? Paint that picture out the same way I'm painting it out for you if you're having any little aha moments throughout this training. Paint the same picture out to them. Picture them, picture yourself as them. That's what you would need to hear. So Buy something back. You know what? They didn't come in with a guest pass. The 189, the 188, that's too much for me today. Well, you know what? You didn't even come in with a guest pass, but I can manipulate the system to think you did. And what does that mean? I will enter in what a guest pass value is. And that is $49, $39, $59, $99, whatever the case might be, depending on what you offered them to use services if you had to. Implement that price point towards their enrollment and get them set up that way. Then follow the rest of the steps. The products and regime form builder. Don't let them walk out without a calendar schedule of what services to use, when, and with what products. Add somebody on. No price point changes. Add your mom on. Maybe she can pay for the whole thing if you can't afford the membership, right? That's something I'd need to be consulted on. I wouldn't think that way. I wouldn't even know you guys did that for people. So remember to cover all those things. And then get referrals. Well, let's talk about it. You don't have to pay anything, person that walks into the door. If you can't afford it at all, we can pay for the whole thing as long as, every single time you refer somebody that wants to get some free stuff, they become a member, you get another month where we pay for it. So ultimately, we don't want you to pay for it because obviously we have a benefit for that. We benefit whenever we're actually paying for your membership because that means that we're getting more brand awareness and more people in the door. Then lastly, before I let you guys go, if you're a spa director, it's important for you to hear this. A lot of times you'll hear in my specific trainings, if you're in my market, I always say get a co-pilot, ask for help, get them to help you and assist you with this. Anything that's not growth related to try to take off of your plate. But if you're currently the person in charge of doing collections and cancellations, you guys know that your approach cannot be bill collector. So question, want you to answer to yourselves. At what point in your membership sales process is the sale finished? I want you to answer that question in your head because here's the actual answer. Never. And I love that Megan just now was like so enthusiastic about it. She's in here going, never. Because it's never. You don't win after you get a new member. And a lot of times, anybody that's got attrition issues or can't retain people, it's usually because you treat them like a sale the second that they sign up and you don't even care if they come in or not. So you never stop selling to them, ever. You're constantly selling yourself as to why you need to stay, an ongoing expense for these particular members. Different ways to retain your members. Every time they walk in, always be the Planet Beach that greets with that awesome greeting. Don't be Cece's Pizza or do anything over the top cheesy like, hey, welcome to Cece's. You don't want to give everybody a heart attack when they walk in, but be that excited to see your members because you never know what kind of day they've had, and you also don't ever know what somebody's going through. You might be their only friend. Like, think about that. That's kind of scary. They might look forward to seeing you because you're the only happy face they see all day because maybe they go to work and they just get, negativity all day, every day, and they need that positivity. So always remember that and keep it in the back of your mind. Greet with swell, -1L because you already know their name. Please do not try to ask what their name is. That is a negative approach. Know your goals and follow up on their process. If you don't know what they signed up for because you're not looking at that little profile window that pops up when you check people into services, then that is a training fail on the spa director's plate. That's a fail for you as the leader. So remember that in training, like we established at the beginning of this training, have them look at that. There is a specific place in their profile box when they check in that shows you what their area of interest is. If it's not filled in, get it filled in. But know their goals and follow up on their progress. So if I see that they're doing weight management, I'm going to ask, so how's it going? Have you been tracking how many pounds you've been losing? Have you been burning calories? Like Megan said when she walked in here, our newer spa performance consultant, she's sitting here with me now. She's doing the hot box detox and she's tracking it down to a T. She's only done it, twice?
3 times now. 3 pounds down in 1 week.
3 pounds down from just doing 3 20-minute sessions in a week, guys. So it's like those are the questions that you want to open up because not only are you retaining members and just being in the know, what else is that promoting? That's promoting retail sales because if I'm saying, well, I don't know, I'm just like stuck in a rut. Nothing's really happening to me. Oh man, well that's crazy. And you're using your sauna suit every time? Are you using that PB heat every time? No, what are you talking about, a sauna suit? I'm not using anything. Well, there you go. I'm so sorry. We didn't even set you up for success there, Miss Mary. Let's go ahead and get you set up with this sauna suit. And I'm even going to throw in a PB heat for getting the sauna suit today. And as an apology, I'm going to throw in a PB heat at 10% off because you didn't get that whenever you became a member last month. And I apologize for that. So that's another opportunity to get a retail sale. New member follow-up processes. If they're not getting a thank you card or letter or phone call in the mail or on the phone, then you're not following up with them and they are just a number to you. And trust me when I tell you, consumers know whenever you treat them like a commission. Have frequent contests, giveaways. Member appreciation party is not just for retail sales anymore, you guys. Not even just for retail and Memcash sales. Member appreciation party is an opportunity for you to have your members feel like they're appreciated. Contact your B2Bs and have them come in and set up a table or products or do a service or have something showcased where they have more benefit of showing up at Planet Beach today than just doing their hot box or just doing their UV session. That's not just getting that. I'm going to go stop in because that little boutique that they have a partnership with is going to be offering sales on all their cute little maxi dresses, and I need new maxi dresses, and they usually give us really great discounts. So now I have even more incentive to go in and use services today versus not going in there at all. So keep that in mind. Referral processes, ongoing referral processes are key, not only to allocate reds and train your staff on knowing how to do that, but it also keeps members staying longer whenever they keep getting their membership dues paid for, right? So, and the transfer of memberships, that's also another great opportunity. Pay attention to them, add their friends and family on. Staff retention equals member retention. Now, if you've heard us talk about this for new people on the call, attrition and retention, two different things completely. Attrition and retention are this. Attrition is an actual reduction or decrease in numbers, size, or strength, which means your attrition rate is something you factor into your EFT goals, EFT increase goals that you set forth every single month. That is something that you expect. So let's just throw in here, if we need to get $2,500 in EFT increase, I'm setting that because usually we set it as $1,500. I'm allowing $1,000 of cancellations to happen because there's sometimes we can't control it because we get caught up in things that we don't have time to focus on trying to save a member. So there will be times where that slips through the cracks. Let's prepare ourselves for that. If I want to actually see a $1,500 EFT increase on my draft next month, I'm going to set my actual goal for EFT increase at $2,500 to allow for that. So when we talk about attrition, we're saying, okay, our EFT increase goal is this when you factor in your attrition rate of losing those members and losing those numbers to your net EFT. That's what we talk about for attrition. Retention is the act of it, retaining a member. What are you doing to retain those members so that they don't become attrition factors? New member follow-up document examples, how to follow up. The day of sign-up, that consultant puts out a thank you card, whether it's a Planet Beach one or a blank generic one that you get in bulk orders from Costco or Sam's Club. Have it be generic and no logos anywhere and just, hey, thanks for becoming a member. That goes out the day of from the consultant. 2 days after, the consultant calls and has a phone call. Hey, let's go ahead and follow up with your service and product regime form. The spa director then knows on that day too. They are to send a thank you letter from that spa director. Hey, thanks for becoming a member with us. I know that Haley, your consultant's going to do the right thing by you. You're going to see results. She's amazing. If you have any general feedback, here's my business cards. Blah, 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 blah. Following the process that you see on your screen. Now, keep in mind, there are materials that you want to leave with it. The spa consultant puts spa bucks inside their thank you cards and guest passes for them to hand out to other people. There are gift certificates that the spa director leaves in with their business cards and their thank you letters, and franchisees leave their business cards with more gift certificates, so keep that in mind. So what do members know about your member greeting and their experience when they arrive to your spa? If you don't have a specific, that's that place that when you walk in, they always say something, I don't know, make it fun. Make it your own. And when you greet a member, I always say this on all of my trainings. You might have heard this before. The Spartans cheerleader skit on Saturday Night Live is my favorite. Will Ferrell and Sherry O'Terry, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Google it and look at some of those videos. You will probably laugh really hard. But here's the thing. You can always tone down spastic, okay? You can never take away the perception of somebody who thinks that your spa consultant and your staff are rude or thinks that you're bothering them. If they don't have a good experience every single time they walk in that door and that it looks like you've been trapped in that spa all day and you've been looking forward to seeing them at 5 o'clock and you've been there since 9 o'clock, you're the one person I've been wanting to see all day. If I don't make you feel like that, I am failing. Enter to Wins always help you with not only lead generation, but member retention. If you are constantly raffling something to win, that makes it fun. That makes your members look forward to member appreciation. And utilizing your B2Bs, not just free memberships, are also key too. So know your members and each of their goals. If right now you're an existing spa, here's the first tip that I'm going to give you, and if you're looking at the screen, do it. The first step in member retention is knowing their goals, okay? Knowing each member, knowing their goals, getting to know them. So take a look at your appointment book for the upcoming day today. Look at each member's service history. Pull out their PSP. If they have a PSP on file, if you can pull up in their profile what their area of interest is, you can see that it's been months since they've signed up to reassess their current goals. When did they come in and sign up? That is your sign to go ahead and book them for a new PSP. What a great way to get to know somebody, especially if you're new in a location or if you didn't sign this person up. A great way to establish a relationship that will make them never want to leave you, even if they aren't contemplating it now at all. If they walk in and didn't have an appointment, don't panic. Just research it whenever they get into their services. You're already checking to see stuff whenever you're checking them into services. So look to see when the last time they signed up was. That's the last time they actually did a PSP, if they did one at all. So if they have some time and they're walking in, just let them know, you know what, this is going to help me, make sure that we're on track to helping you see your goals. We'd like to have it on file here. That's better going to help us serve you, right? So those are the different little things and tips and ideas that I can give to you for takeaways. If you're an existing spa, pull the report. Do a random report pull. Pull existing active EFT members by type and print them up. This is going to be like a little random act of retention today, so hopefully you guys wrote that down. See who they are, divide them up evenly among who's working, how many consultants you have, and say, here, have at it. These are your members. Take them. Because moving forward, what you're going to do is the next appointment you're going to call them and book them on, they're going to come in and you're going to re-PSP them. You're going to give them a product and service regime form, and you're going to get them set up on days that they're coming in, products that they're going to be using, and this is going to be your member. You're going to be a personal spa consultant. The same way you go to a gym and have a personal trainer, this is going to be your continued retail sales. So if, again, this goes back to I need more hours, I'm not making any money. This is how I'm giving you the opportunity to make what you want to make in this role as an executive. You are in an executive role as a spa consultant. Giving them that reign to do what they want with it is up to them. And it's not in your control anymore if they're making good paychecks or not, because you're giving them those tools, right? So recover that. Like I just mentioned, you're going to divide them up and they're going to reach out. Remember that a SMART goal is not a goal unless it's got a deadline. The very last part of SMART is T, time-based. So if you're going to give them a list of people to call and members to book appointments for, tell them that they have a specific deadline to meet in order to have reached out to as many of those people as possible. You guys saw on the Facebook group page and you saw on Orion, now they have a tracking log they can use and duplicate for when they're plugging in these members that they are responsible for reaching out to and re-PSPing. You can check on that productivity and every single day from their call log. You made contact, you haven't, you left a message, you sent a text message, you sent an email. That way you know if you need to step in or not. So tell them to use that document that you saw that was posted. It was called Go Paperless. I believe I posted it last week. And it is in Orion and Spa Performance under marketing and prospecting folder, continued into marketing and prospecting lead tracking tools. That's the folder you can find it in. Wow, that's a lot of subfolders, I know. But yeah, so use that whenever you give them this directive. But that's my tip for you to start your retention process. Look, don't be afraid to call people that's not been in a while. Do not be scared. Here's why. The worst case scenario is they say, I forgot I had that membership, cancel me. Okay, no problem. I can go ahead and put that in whenever you can stop by today because I do need to get you to sign some paperwork for me, but it'll take you 2 seconds, pop in for me. And what I can do is you're already going to be with us for 60 more days. Let's go ahead and make it count. If you're paying for it, I'd feel terrible that you're paying for something that you're not getting any use out of. That's why I called you today, to apologize first and foremost, although you might not have been working there whenever they signed up. But to apologize that nobody was keeping up with your goals, I want to take full responsibility for that. And that was one of my actual goals and my objectives for today's call, and why I was calling you was because of that. I want to get you back in here. It's unfortunate. We hate to see you go, but I will need to get this from you. But when you come in, this is what I'll do. I'll set you up with, use these services since you're paying for them. And what's going to happen then? If you make them feel like, wow, they didn't fight me back, they're not just trying to take my money, you're making them feel like, well, I feel terrible just letting you sit here paying for something you're not using. What's going to happen in that 60 days is you're going to get them on a routine of coming in from that regime form. Remember what happens to routines? They turn into habits. You know how hard it is to break a habit. I promise you a few weeks in, if you stay on top of these people like you're supposed to, what's going to happen in turn is they're going to say, you know what, I don't want to cancel my membership because I just started losing a lot of weight and I look amazing and I have 4 dates next week. Oh, I'm sorry. I sound like Megan. So listen when they talk to you. That's last and least what I leave you with. Listen when they talk to you. You guys, I can't tell you how important it is to know that customers are not stupid people. They are not dumb. They are not unaware of when you ask them a question and you clearly don't hear them, and you immediately go into asking them another question that is similar to what you just asked because you didn't pay attention to me. If I go in there and I start saying stuff about my birthday parties I'm talking about next week, because you guys know how your members are, ooh, my birthday is next week, gonna have a limo, gonna have this, gonna have that, it's gonna be a big blowout, blah, 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 pay attention to them. Give them a birthday card. For crying out loud, you probably have cards in your spa, right? You probably have those, like, which you're already sending out as thank you cards, greeting cards, whatever. Get a card and give them a $50 gift certificate to use, in this case, towards, I don't know, products if they purchase $100 or more. Be creative with that, but pay attention and think about the member retention whenever they know that you did something special for them. That's actually something Covington, a top spa, does. They do that for members, and they do it in a way where they actually allocate 10 to 11 red appointments for giving someone a birthday party. That's it. Run your birthday report. See whose birthday's coming up. That's another task I can give to you and leave with today to allocate not only reds, but a retention approach. Pull your birthday members. Pull your members, see when their birthday is, and whose birthday's coming up in maybe end of October, early November. Call them. Hey, one of your benefits is you get a birthday party at Planet Beach where you can have an exclusive birthday party before or after hours. Preferably we do these things for our members on the weekends whenever we can accommodate at those hours. But based on our service rooms and what we can accommodate, we could probably fit about 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, however big your spa is, tell them a limit. Now, what we do for you in this case is we provide a little cake for you, a grocery store cake, guys, that feeds 7 to 10 people. How much is that? Like $8, $10, $15 at most, depending on how many people you're accommodating. It's not a lot. We provide the cake, and here's how you get red appointments out of this. You think that this is a retention thing, but I'm about to take it completely 180 on you. All you need to do is get any existing food and drinks you might want. We provide a cake, and we send out the invitations. Guess what I'm going to need in order to send out an invitation? Can anybody guess?
A name, number, and an email address?
A name, number, an email address, and maybe a home address. So I'm going to get all that information just from telling somebody I'm throwing them a birthday party. So we do send out the invitations because we have specific invitations for this and evites. So what we'll need to do is just, accommodate what we can do. Let's reserve it right now. And let's pick a date, a weekend that you want to reserve it for. I'll go ahead and put it in our calendar. Give me the names of anybody you know off the top of your head that you do want to attend this party. This way you're not hanging up the phone or you're not letting them leave the spa after they leave when you have this discussion without reserving and confirming a date and telling you at least some names and numbers and email addresses. Because worst case scenario, you didn't get 7, but how many reds did you just get that day? That's awesome. And it's the easiest trick in the book. And when we talk about allocating red appointments and we talk about how it's just so blown up out of proportion into thinking that it's this intimidating thing that we have to do in our jobs and people are scared to do it and they don't know where else to look and how else to get people to come in. Those are those things that you just need to stop, sit back, and go, wait a minute, I can get reds out of this. I can get reds out of this. So start that process and consider doing that and then stay in a follow-up. If your consultants are doing this and it's not you, have them use that awesome Go Paperless daily prospecting and call log sheet that you saw me post on the Facebook group last week and is on Orion that I just mentioned. Have them use that as use the same copy paste. Here's a new sheet to your daily routine. Outreach for birthday parties. Hey, how many more did you get to names that you want me to call or email or send these invitations to? Because we can accommodate up to this many people. We want you to have the time of your life. Meanwhile, I'll be selling memberships to people behind her back when she's enjoying birthday services. So anyway, wanted to make mention of that because that's not only a retention method, but that is a huge red allocator. The Rules of 22 is something Pell Hughes offers, FYI, if you were wondering what that was. Everything that you just saw listed on your screen, basically, Pell Hughes will provide a mailer, a direct mailer, an email campaign, anything and all things for you so that that is removed off of your plate. It's an amazing campaign, and I know we have a lot of franchisees that have said wonderful things about that entire process. So look into that on Pell Hughes if you have not done so already. And then the number one missed opportunity, I'm going to let you marinate on this. I wish I can get answers from you guys to see what you guys think that the number one missed out opportunity is within every Planet Beach location as far as an increase for your net EFT is concerned. If I had a drum roll, I would do it. The family and friend add-on. Did I sound like a game show host? I don't know.
A little bit.
I tried.
Come on now.
I sounded like a little spastic cheerleader just now because I think I'm still stuck in that mode. Anyway, but that is the number one missed opportunity, you guys, because do you know how simple it is for someone to get me? If I went somewhere that I loved and I frequented all the time, I'll give Megan as an example. Megan was one of my very, very loyal members that were at a spa that I used to work at, which she is now one of the spa performance ladies, like I had mentioned earlier. And I know for a fact that if I was, now her sister, she had a sister that used these services too. Now, Megan, if I would have told you, if your sister was not on an add-on, that, hey, so this is what you're paying a month to use these services. Now, I'm running a special today. This is something that we can get. Didn't you say that you have a sister? Yeah, Megan, you have a sister. So if I could have told you that your sister could be added onto your membership at half of what you're paying, and she'd have 30 days to decide if she likes what's in there or not, and that it was going to be no money today to just get her added on, would you have signed her up?
Oh, absolutely. I think we did, actually.
Oh.
Thinking about it.
I might have done that, sorry. So, okay, well then perfect example. So now keep in mind, Megan is now a consultant for us here at corporate because of her knowledge and her passion she had for Planet Beach as being one of our loyal members here in the New Orleans market, having used just about almost every location. She knew the brand, she loved the brand, so there's a passion there. And that was one of the things, I guess, in that case, we did get her added on, but that's almost like you want to look at the situation and say, what am I going to need to hear? So think about it that way. I'm going to cover the features and benefits that they only need to hear. And as a training moment, I'm going to tell you that's the only thing you need to cover in training your staff when you hang up with this call. Just tell them those three things. That's the only thing that a consumer needs to hear. And I guarantee you they're going to start approaching those conversations much, 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 much quicker. Last but not least, before I let you guys go for the day to go and solidify those reds and confirm those red appointments and sell to those red appointments now that you know how to approach those sales, is let's talk about why people cancel. These are everything listed in your current, if you go to put in a cancellation, on the screen, you are seeing every single reason you can choose from, minus the you terminated them because they weren't paying their dues. That's the one that's not on there. But this is everything to choose from when you go to put in a cancellation. Look at the ratio of what is actually the member saw no value. Now, obviously, death, injury, medical, converted to employee, moving out of the area, military, that's something that has nothing to do with they didn't see any value. But if I cancel my membership because I haven't used it enough, so I'm not seeing results, so I'm not using it anyway, financial, 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to be like, I don't want to pay $59, $89 a month for something I'm not really using. It's not really that beneficial for me. It's too far away. It's not too far away. If it came down for me eating or getting a spray tan because I'm pasty, I guarantee you I'll starve to death because that's how important getting my spray tan is every single week. Like, I would die before leaving the house looking like I am a zombie from The Walking Dead. So I will drive any distance to go there. So it's not that. It's value. Lost interest, poor customer service, downgraded, temporary, seasonal. All of these are reasons why people are canceling, or the real reason is that they saw no value. Keep that in mind every single time you go to type in a cancellation or plug one in, or you're looking at your queue and you have only a few days left to be able to save this person because their last visit date is September 30th or something crazy. Keep that in mind. If you see that any of these listed that show whatever shows that, but it's really no value, you may want to contact them because you could possibly save that person. Now, I'm so glad that you attended part 1 and part 2 of this. This is going to be obviously recorded, uploaded to our YouTube channel, as well as posted to the Facebook franchise community group page now, and will be emailed out to you guys by your spa performance consultant to take a look at. Be sure that if you had any questions concerning anything, I see here one of you have a question. And I'm sorry that I was not able to address it, but please feel free to contact myself at my email address shown on the screen. If you did have any specific questions or wanted details or wanted me to focus on driving the point home a little bit more in any areas that you feel like I just touched into that you could have gotten a little bit further detailed training on, I'll more than happy to accommodate those requests, answer any questions, but be on the lookout for the recorded version of this. And please be sure that if you're a franchisee or a spa director or either or, make sure that the other one got this link to watch this webinar, because it is very important that the both of you guys, or all three of you guys, if you have an ASD, take the approach training part 1 and part 2, because remember, from here on out, you're going to get trainings on scripts, processes, procedures from here on out, and you're going to get a ton of what, but you need to remember part 1 and part 2 of this approach training to know how to do it and why we have it in place, why it's important, and why it's important to do it all the way that we have it. So without those two elements combined, it will not be successful. Remember that. But be on the lookout. Thank you again so much for joining today's call. I'm super pumped to see what you guys do with this information. Any feedback, general questions, and knowledge is very welcome. Feel free to post to the Facebook page if you're excited, if you've learned anything, your takeaways. I didn't see many emails from last week of what your action items were going to be now that you've taken this training in full. So please email me or post to the Facebook group page. Based on today's and last Friday's webinar, here's what I took away that were important that I noticed I need to start doing. Here's going to be my action items. Now, here's what I'm going to start doing that I wasn't doing before that I thought I was good at. And list that on there, because you're sharing information on there for other spas in your specific areas to see the same exact thing. And you're also making your spotlight in your spa. So feel free to give yourself shout outs on the Facebook group page, because I think that that's more motivational, because you have staff members that are on that Facebook group page, not just yourselves. That's going to make them feel like, oh man, my spa director went on that Facebook group page and started posting about how we're going to have to start doing all this stuff. I'm really going to be held accountable. So many reasons why you should do that. But please send me those things, because I'm really asking you to help you. I'm not asking you to be your accountability holder. I'm not trying to manage you guys, because I know you're all a bunch of your own executives. What I'm trying to do is provide a way to better assist you and provide support for you guys. So please make sure that you do that for me. I will love you for the rest of my life. I'll dance at your wedding. I'll do it all. So without further ado, have a great day. And as always, don't forget to be awesome. Have a great day, you guys, and go close out September strong. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.